The palace walls of Monaco are trembling tonight as Princess Charlene has just made a move so controversial, so unprecedented, that it threatens to unravel the very fabric of one of Europe's most prestigious royal institutions. What started as whispers in the marble corridors has now exploded into a full-blown crisis that could reshape the future of the Grimaldi dynasty forever. Behind the glamorous facade of Monte Carlo's glittering casinos and luxury yachts, a storm has been brewing for weeks. Palace insiders, speaking on condition of anonymity, reveal that the atmosphere within the prince's palace has been suffocating with tension so thick you could cut it with a diamond-encrusted knife. Every sideways glance, every carefully measured step, every pause before speaking has been scrutinized and analyzed by courtiers who understand that in Monaco, nothing is ever just what it seems. Princess Charlene, the former Olympic swimmer who captured Prince Albert's heart and transformed from South African athlete to European royalty, has always been a figure shrouded in mystery and speculation. Her journey from the swimming pools of Durban to the opulent halls of Monaco's palace reads like a modern fairy tale, but lately, that fairy tale has taken some very dark turns that have left royal watchers around the world absolutely stunned. The recent appearance that has set tongues wagging and phones buzzing in royal circles wasn't just any ordinary public engagement. Sources close to the palace describe it as a calculated move that has sent shockwaves through the established order of things. When Princess Charlene stepped out, something was fundamentally different. The carefully crafted image that had been maintained for years suddenly cracked, revealing glimpses of a reality that palace officials had worked tirelessly to keep hidden from public view. What makes this situation even more explosive is the timing. Monaco, despite its small size, punches well above its weight in terms of international influence and prestige. The principality's reputation as a haven for the wealthy, a playground for celebrities, and a beacon of European sophistication depends heavily on the stability and respectability of its royal family. Any crack in that foundation sends ripples through not just royal circles, but through the financial and social networks that make Monaco such a unique and powerful entity. The institutional role that Princess Charlene has carefully built over the years now hangs in the balance like a sword of Damocles. Her charitable work, her patronages, her carefully cultivated public persona, all of it could be swept away by the consequences of this single moment of controversy. Royal experts who have followed her career closely are describing this as potentially the most significant challenge she has faced since marrying into the Grimaldi family. But what exactly happened during that fateful appearance? Palace staff who witnessed the event describe an atmosphere so tense that even the usually unflappable protocol officers seemed visibly shaken. The careful choreography that typically governs every royal appearance seemed to dissolve into chaos as Princess Charlene made choices that flew in the face of decades of established tradition and expectation. The ghosts that have been awakened by this controversy are not just any ordinary skeletons in royal closets. These are the kinds of secrets that royal families spend fortunes and decades trying to bury, the kinds of revelations that can topple governments and destroy reputations built over generations. Sources familiar with Monaco's royal history suggest that what we're witnessing now is connected to events and decisions that stretch back years, possibly even to the very beginning of Charlene's time as a member of the Grimaldi family. Prince Albert, who has weathered his own share of scandals and controversies throughout his reign, now finds himself facing perhaps the most delicate situation of his entire royal career. The pressure on him to respond, to take action, to somehow contain the damage while protecting both his wife and his principality, is described by palace insiders as absolutely enormous. Every decision he makes in the coming days and weeks could determine not just his own legacy, but the future stability of Monaco itself. The ripple effects of this controversy are already being felt far beyond the borders of the tiny principality. Royal families across Europe are watching with a mixture of fascination and concern, understanding that in the interconnected world of modern royalty, what happens in Monaco doesn't stay in Monaco. The carefully maintained relationships between royal houses, the delicate balance of protocol and diplomacy, all of it could be affected by how this situation unfolds. What makes this even more dramatic is Princess Charlene's own history of navigating controversy and speculation. From the very beginning of her relationship with Prince Albert, she has been the subject of intense scrutiny and sometimes vicious gossip. Her every move has been analyzed, her every expression interpreted, her every absence noted and discussed. She has shown remarkable resilience in the face of this pressure, but sources close to her suggest that the strain may finally be taking its toll. The transformation from Charlene Wittstock, the accomplished athlete with Olympic dreams, to Princess Charlene of Monaco, was never going to be easy. Royal life demands sacrifices that most people can barely imagine. The loss of privacy, the constant scrutiny, the need to always be perfect, always be diplomatic, always represent not just yourself but an entire nation and its values. For someone who spent their life in the relatively straightforward world of competitive swimming, where success is measured in seconds and fractions of seconds, the complex political calculations of royal life must have been a jarring adjustment. But she adapted, seemingly successfully, creating a role for herself that honored both her athletic background and her new royal responsibilities. Her work with children's charities, her advocacy for water safety and swimming programs, her support for various causes close to her heart, all of it seemed to create a perfect balance between personal passion and royal duty. Until now, the political implications of this controversy cannot be overstated. In Monaco, where the line between royal family and government is often blurred, personal scandals quickly become matters of state. The Principality's unique position in Europe, its special relationships with France and other neighboring countries, its status as both a sovereign nation and a luxury destination, all of these factors mean that royal stability translates directly into political and economic stability. Palace advisors who have spent their careers managing royal crises are describing this situation as unprecedented in its complexity. The usual playbook for royal scandals, the time-tested strategies of denial, deflection, and careful public relations management, may not be sufficient to address what they're dealing with now. The stakes are simply too high, the implications too far-reaching, and the potential for further revelations too dangerous. The financial markets, always sensitive to political instability in tax havens and luxury destinations, are already showing signs of nervousness. While Monaco's economy is diversified and robust, its reputation for stability and discretion is one of its most valuable assets. Any threat to that reputation, any suggestion that the Principality's leadership is distracted by personal scandals or internal conflicts, could have real economic consequences for the thousands of businesses and individuals who have chosen Monaco as their base of operations. Meanwhile, the social scene in Monaco, that carefully curated world of galas and charity events, yacht parties and casino nights, is buzzing with speculation and gossip. The kind of people who can afford to live and play in Monaco are not easily shocked, but they are very concerned about anything that might affect their own interests and investments. The whispered conversations in the exclusive restaurants and private clubs of Monte Carlo are reportedly focused on one question: what does this mean for the future? Princess Charlene's supporters, and she does have them despite the constant criticism, argue that she has been unfairly targeted and scrutinized from the very beginning. They point to her genuine commitment to her charitable work, her obvious love for her children, and her dignified handling of previous controversies as evidence that whatever happened during this recent appearance should be viewed in the context of years of dedicated service to Monaco and its people. Her critics, however, see this latest controversy as confirmation of their long-held suspicions that she was never truly committed to royal life, that her heart was never really in Monaco, and that the fairy tale marriage was built on shaky foundations from the start. They argue that the cracks were always there, visible to those who knew how to look, and that this latest incident is simply the moment when the carefully constructed facade finally collapsed. The international media, always hungry for royal scandals and particularly fascinated by the glamorous world of Monaco royalty, has descended on the Principality like wolves sensing blood in the water. Photographers with telephoto lenses are positioned at every possible vantage point, hoping to capture some revealing image or unguarded moment. Reporters are working their contacts, trying to piece together the full story behind the official palace statements and carefully worded press releases. But the palace machinery, honed by decades of experience in managing royal crises, has swung into action with military precision. Information is being controlled, access is being limited, and the usual sources of palace gossip are finding their phones going unanswered and their messages unreturned. The lockdown is so complete that even veteran royal correspondents who have covered Monaco for decades are struggling to get reliable information about what's really happening behind those palace walls. The human cost of this crisis cannot be ignored in all the political and media speculation. Princess Charlene, whatever her faults or mistakes, is a real person dealing with real consequences. The pressure she must be feeling, caught between her duty to her family and her apparent need to express herself authentically, must be enormous. The isolation that comes with royal life becomes even more intense during times of crisis, when the very people who are supposed to support and protect you may be the ones making the difficult decisions about your future. Prince Albert, too, is facing impossible choices. His loyalty to his wife must be balanced against his responsibility to Monaco and its people. His personal feelings about the situation must be weighed against the political realities of modern monarchy. The advice he's receiving from palace officials, government ministers, and trusted advisors is likely pulling him in different directions, each faction convinced that their approach is the only way to navigate this crisis successfully. The children, Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella, though still young, are old enough to sense the tension and uncertainty around them. Royal children grow up understanding that their lives are different, that their families' private moments can become public spectacles, but that knowledge doesn't make it any easier to deal with when crisis actually strikes. The decisions being made now will affect not just their mother's role and reputation, but their own future positions and responsibilities. As this drama continues to unfold, royal watchers around the world are trying to read the tea leaves, to understand what each carefully worded statement and strategic silence might mean. The art of interpreting royal communications, of understanding what's being said and what's being left unsaid, becomes even more crucial during times of crisis. Every word is chosen with extreme care, every photograph is selected to send specific messages, and every public appearance is choreographed to achieve particular objectives. The broader implications for monarchy as an institution are also being debated by constitutional experts and royal historians. In an age of social media and instant global communication, royal families can no longer control their narratives the way they once did. The traditional strategies of stonewalling and waiting for scandals to blow over may no longer be effective in a world where speculation and gossip can spread around the globe in minutes. This Monaco crisis is being watched closely by royal houses across Europe as a potential preview of challenges they may face in the future. The lessons learned from how this situation is handled could influence royal crisis management strategies for generations to come. The stakes extend far beyond one royal marriage or one small principality on the Mediterranean coast. The tourism industry in Monaco, always sensitive to the principality's image and reputation, is monitoring the situation carefully. Monaco's appeal as a luxury destination depends partly on its glamorous royal family and the fairy tale atmosphere they help create. Any long-term damage to that image could affect everything from hotel bookings to property values to the success of major events like the Monaco Grand Prix and the Monte Carlo Casino's high-stakes gaming operations. As we wait to see how this unprecedented situation will resolve itself, one thing is certain: the world is watching Monaco with an intensity that the tiny principality hasn't experienced in years. The decisions made in the coming days and weeks will echo far beyond the palace walls, affecting not just the Grimaldi family but the thousands of people whose livelihoods and investments depend on Monaco's continued stability and success. The question that everyone is asking, from the corridors of power in European capitals to the exclusive salons of Monaco's social elite, is what will happen next. Will Princess Charlene weather this storm as she has weathered others before? Will Prince Albert's leadership prove strong enough to navigate this crisis while preserving both his marriage and his principality? Will the institutional machinery of modern monarchy prove capable of adapting to this new challenge? The answers to these questions will determine not just the future of one royal family, but potentially the future of monarchy itself in the 21st century. This is a story that's still being written, and the final chapters promise to be every bit as dramatic and unexpected as what we've witnessed so far. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because this royal drama is far from over, and you won't want to miss a single shocking development. Like this video if you found it as fascinating as we did, share it with your friends who love royal gossip, and let us know in the comments what you think Princess Charlene's next move should be in this unprecedented crisis that has rocked the palace to its very foundations and could change the face of European royalty forever.